like 30 different biomes. Let me find one. I had one on the PowerPoint, but I moved it. But here's one a little bit more complicated. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is not to try and confuse you guys. I'm showing you this to let you know that scientists have a hard time agreeing on the different biomes that exist. Does that make sense? Like, you know, Kasai and them might think that only 6 of them need to exist. And then someone else says, yeah, but that's being too vague. We need to be more specific, so we're going to put 20 of them on there.
But that's good.
Well, so, Kente, the biggest thing that defines a biome is what? The climate. So this slide right here is the most important slide of today. What defines a biome? So please, if you're copying down the notes, please copy this down. So the biggest thing is the climate.
Can we make another, what's it called?
We are going to make a...
For that one?
Yeah.
It said that Orlando's going to be flooded.
So Orlando will be flooded in a few years, yes. Because there's a lot of, the ocean levels are rising and they're lower. So most of Florida will be actually flooded over. And that'll change the biome then.
Yes.
Florida? I like Florida.
I like Orlando too.
Alright, so
KTL.
biomes, guys. The biggest thing is the climate. Does anyone in here know what climate means? So, Oscar, temperature's one of them. Anyone have the other main point of it? Temperature's one. What? Well, climate is it's long-term weather patterns. But in order to describe climate, you need 2 things. The first one is temperature. Anyone know the other one?
Weather.
It's not weather. It's another factor in weather. No, it's defining climate. Does anyone know the other one? What? Rain, water, precipitation. Yeah, that's part of the water cycle. Okay, so when you're talking about climate, guys, all you're talking about is how hot it is and how much rain it's getting. Not necessarily rain, sorry. Rain is, it could be snow, it could be sleet, it could be ice, but water. Okay, so when you look at the biome of the region, if you look at this map, where's my map? If you look at this map, do you notice a pattern about where biomes are located? Well, they're located everywhere, but like look at where all the tropical rainforests are located. Look at where all the deciduous forests are located. Well, what's that line? Equator. Come on, Rosa. So, if you look, guys, there's a pattern to where biomes are located in the world. So, we're not doing the gentry, that's a 7th grade topic. But we are going to talk about it very briefly today. We're going to talk about it very briefly when I describe how biomes are affected by things. About what? I can't hear you because everyone's talking. So, no, we're not going into that. So, guys, when you look at this, Brian, if you look, what's important about where all these tropical rainforests are located? What's important about them? Where are they located?
I know it. Oh, near the equator.
They're all located near the equator, Brian. Can you see that? Okay.
I can't see
What is different about if, Brian, I'm still on you, because you're trying to do something on your computer, and I don't know what it is, but I'm going to assume it's looking at the notes.
No.
I'm gonna give him the reasonable doubt here and assume it's looking at the notes, right, Brian?
Sure.
the correct answer. So Brian, when you're at the equator, what's the difference between being at the equator and being like here, where we're at in North Carolina now, where we're at now? This is relating back to our last unit. So what's different about being here or being here right now? Brian.
Dude, it's easy.
Come on, Brian. I know you know it. Take a guess. Okay. So since Malika gave you that one, Brian, I'm not letting you off the hook yet. Why is this warmer and this colder right now? Why? See if Brian can get it, because he knows it there. It's just he's got to find it. Why? Why is it not hot here and cold there? What causes it to get warm and cold?
Whoa.
Brian, okay, Brian. We just did this. This is concerning right now. What happens? At night, is it colder than during the day, Brian? What? Is it colder? Why is it colder at night than it is during the day? Because the sun, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you remember about the tilt of the Earth that we just talked about last unit? So what's different about the equator compared to here? Right now, we are tilted away from the sun. So if you notice, all of these areas, you've got things like deserts, grasslands, and tropical rainforests right along here. Because they never change their weather. You get hot weather all year round.
Where?
Here.
So, I want to go there. So, do they ever go to school? So, like, do they ever get breaks? Like, do they get winter break, spring break, summer
Yes.
break? Oh, no, they don't get winter break, summer break.
Jada, just so you're aware, the breaks that you get in school are determined by people that just decide you're having these breaks.
Oh, so that's probably my. So I got a question.
Yes.
It's not just CMS.
So,
It's not just CMS.
I lived in Trinidad, which is right about here.
Yes.
Right?
Equator.
That's where I just came. Now, I had winter break. Because no, it's not cold. It was 78 degrees. I went to Barbados, and for our winter break for Christmas, I spent it on the beach in the sunshine tanning. Why? Because it doesn't get cold because you get tons of sunlight. But the whole term winter, summer, we determine that based on whether or not you're angled to and from. They don't have winter and summer there. It's just, it's rainy season and dry season because there's times where it rains a lot more than other times. But the temperature is constant all year.
So it'll be raining outside and it'll be so hot. So
Every single day during the rainy season, it rained for about 5 hours, torrential downpour. Every single day.
every day.
Every day. Like clockwork.
Oh no.
And then in the summer, you got weeks without rain. Yes.
So you told me that.
No. Yeah.
SpongeBob.
Alright, so the next thing after where it's located is this part right here. Have you guys studied adaptations in the past?
Yeah.
Do you guys know what an adaptation is?
Oh yeah.
William, do you know what an adaptation is?
Adaptation.
Do you remember what it is? That's okay. I don't expect you all to remember exactly what it is. Yeah, what's an adaptation?
Adaptation is your environment.
Something with that, Oscar. Let you try and answer.
It's a organism going through a change and adapting to the environment. Yeah. Oh, I know what it is.
What is it, Oscar? Alright, if you can't see it over there, Janila, Jada, adaptations are how organisms survive in their environment.
I can see it.
Yeah, like how fish have gills.
Like how fish have gills. You cannot survive in water because you don't have an adaptation.
I can't survive in water.
Kenji has a really good question here, and the sad part is we don't have the time to go directly into that. But humans have kind of sidestepped a lot of evolution because we make a lot of choices not based on just baseline survival. Could we become fish? So it would take millions of years, but yes. So dolphins, you guys all know dolphins? Dolphins and whales, you know what their closest living relative is that's on land?
The shark.
Hippopotamus.
A hippopotamus.
I call my cousin a hippo. You know what
That
hippo?
doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I made it up. A hippopit means an elephant and a hippo.
Cool. So dolphins, guys, were animals that left the oceans, lived on land for millions of years, and then their ancestors moved back to the oceans.
How was dolphins on it?
Now, the reason why we know that is you can see the hip bones. Jado, I don't even know what that is. What's
The
that?
slide.
Okay.
The slide. You were on the wrong slide.
Okay.
No, I wasn't.
But
Yes, you was.
whales and stuff still have hip bones. You can find them if you look at a whale skeleton, but they have no hips, they have no legs, they don't need it. But that shows us that they evolved ones from animals that walk like you do. Yes, kid.
Like a kangaroo. Like a kangaroo.
Okay. A hypothesis. Yes. That's a very good coming together of that information. So, all the animals that you are going to look at from now until the day you die are very specifically designed. Well, I use the term designed in a very special way, but they fit their environment perfectly. Now, when you look at something like a zebra, do you guys know where zebras live? Okay, they live in the savannah, they live in the grasslands of Africa. Can you all see that zebra standing on its background here? It kind of stands out, doesn't it? Now, you guys would think of adaptations of being, hey, that guy's going to stand out, he's going to get eaten, right? Because if you look at the predator that hunts it, you have lions. Well, I'm not trying to get an animal, one of them, yeah, well, this is an animal, this is a lion eating them. Now, you can see the color difference of the zebra and the lion. We're going to be going into food chain, food web, so I'm sorry, but it happens. Now, but no, there's one of them that they hunt. But if you look, doesn't the lion blend in a lot better than the zebra?
Yeah.
But you're going to wonder, zebra are one of the most, they're perfectly designed for their environment. So you'd say, why or how, right?
They should live in Antarctica because they're so wide, like.
Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? But zebras travel in herds. Now, if you were to look at this, and I told you to find one specific zebra, it's going to be kind of difficult, isn't it? You don't think it's hard at all.
No, because it looks like they're together. No, but it looks like they're together, like they touch you.
Now, we're going to go through this with the adaptation. Angelica.
The picture was better. It was an illusion.
Alright. So, zebra kind of stand out on their background.
Right.
We're trying to get the line to come up. So, these are zebra, they stand out very well against this. Now, what you probably won't notice is the line approaching. Let me see if I can find the line.
I see it. I see it.
I want them to run here, basically. So they're shrinking.
I don't see it. I see it. Right there.
No, that's a wrong.
That's a rock.
They're not noticing the nearby line. That's not going to work for us. So I'll find a video and I'll show you guys at the end of class while you guys are working on your project. But when you are looking, if these guys are running, yeah, you may label that zebra, but it's very difficult to tell one individual from the next. So if a lion's trying to capture them, what's going to happen to the lion? He's gonna forget which one he was chasing after and get confused. So it doesn't seem like it's the perfect adaptation, like something like a stick bug.
Oh, I see the stick bug.
I've shown you guys stick bugs before.
Ew!
But when you look at this stick bug, what does that look like? You're talking about the head's right here. No, these are the forelegs. This is its stomach. This is its back. But what does it look like? It looks like the leaves that are laying on the ground outside. If you are quickly walking past it, what are you going to notice? You're not going to notice that guy. Okay?
Oh,
So there's also another one. And this one is very particular for you. But does anyone know what that looks like? It looks like an owl. Now, that is a moth. If you were trying to hunt it, right, and you saw that coming very quickly, what are you going to do? You're going to just avoid it because you might think it's an owl. Sure. Yeah, sure. Alright, so understand that all plants and animals are fit perfectly to survive in their environments. That's why polar bears live where it's cold and white all the time. And they don't live here because they would stand out against the background. Alright. Now, this slide has a lot of information on it, right? No. What I want you to know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Jacob. What would you do? No, my eyes are dirty.
So, what I want you guys to be aware of on this slide is the world itself is interconnected. Now, we want to think about things like we look at our political maps and we say we're in North Carolina and South Carolina's below us, Virginia's above us, and we're separate. But what I want you guys to look at is things that happen here can affect in ecosystems down here. The stuff that China puts into the atmosphere has been affecting stuff on our west coast. If a volcano erupts down here or down here in Mexico, Mexico kind of stretches down here. But if a volcano erupts here, it could put the entire world into a cooling period. Why, Oscar? So some of it has to do with the jet stream, but when a volcano erupts, it spits a lot of ash into the atmosphere. Now what that does is it kind of creates a cloud above. And it kind of shields it, and it blocks sunlight from coming in, so it gets colder. And this happened in the Middle Ages. It created ice ages. But I want you guys to be aware of that all these biomes and stuff, when we talk about them, we're talking about little tiny features, but no, they're all intertwined. The oil spill that happened here in in the Gulf of Mexico 3 years ago, the ExxonMobil oil spill, that has been affecting all the animals that live along the East Coast and the west coast of Europe and parts of Western Africa, the animals in the water. So we don't live in this little isolated bubble. Everything you do and everything humans do affects everyone else.
How about who live at the equator?
What about it?
How about this? So, how would it be different? If we live at the
For
equator?
you, nothing. You wake up at 6 o'clock, the sun will rise at 6:30. You go home at 6 o'clock, the sun is going to set at 6:30. That's really the only thing that's going to change for you. All right. So, I am not, and we're not requiring you guys to learn each individual biome. What I want you guys to do is, when you start your project, excuse me. Yeah. But I'm just saying it's not a word. But what I want you guys to do is when you're doing your little research projects here, just make sure that you're aware of like Arctic, Alpine, different forest. Make sure these are things that you guys have learned before. So I'm not directly going in, because I'm not requiring you on any sort of test to describe the types of trees that are in a deciduous forest. You're not going to be required to know that, but you should know that the types of trees that live in deciduous forests are very different than the types of trees that live in the Arctic. Because there are no trees that live in the Arctic. Yes. Excuse me.
I got something. So, one, if all the trash, the pollution is affecting the animals,
Yes.
all that trash that comes out of the road,
So, yes, but it's not as simple as that. Like, it would be great, but then when we make plastic and stuff, we have to break it down some way into something else. And we don't have effective ways of doing that and safe ways of doing that. You all right there, Jada? All right.
And then my second one, you say that